What's up, everybody? Supersmallchibiwolf here, and today I'm going to be talking about, reviewing and talking about the death battle of Link versus Cloud rematch, remake, whatever it's called, 2021. Yeah. So, there's many things. Let me just start off by saying this. Before anything, I love The Legend of Zelda. I love Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy 7 and 9, they are my top Final Fantasy games. I love those two. PlayStation 1 version. I love the Legend of Zelda games, Super Nintendo with Link to the Past, as you're hearing right now. And, just, I love both franchises. And Link and Cloud are, they're my favorites when it comes down to it. So, it's crazy. And also, you know, many things, because a lot of people, they comment and they delete the comments, and even in the live chat of the upcoming death battle, I have discussions, and it's pretty stupid when you could claim that someone's just a hater of Final Fantasy just because they say they making points why Link can win, and showing actual proof and evidence, like, hey, look, when we compare the stats, when we compare the weaponry, when we compare like the arsenal, when we compare the potions, and if we're gonna go all out, hey, the material, the summonings versus the guardians, Final Fantasy, the guardians from Breath of the Wild and all that stuff, right? Like I was saying in my a prediction video, what they should do, which they didn't do. By the way, they didn't do the Guardians versus the Summons, which would have been really fucking cool. But unfortunately, that battle, the millions and millions of dollars that battle makes, you really can't give us a stretch out the time period and make it more actually something like a remake, my rematch, you know. But that's just a small thing of many things. I could say, and a lot of people, let's say those fanboys of this company, of that battle, Rooster Teeth, etc., they enjoy to go after a lot of people. Like, I've seen other prediction videos, and I've noticed that in comments as well. It's not just me. And in the live streams, when I have discussions with the people that I actually have a mind and will have a discussion, actual, respectful discussion on this, when before this fight came out, we were talking like, hey, what happened if they had the summoners versus the guardians? I asked, and people were like, that's interesting. I think this summoning would be strong enough to verse. We actually had a nice polite conversation. But then there was those, when the fight actually came out, and here and there as well, you see those toxic fanboys of both sides. I'm not going to try to say only Final Fantasy, because there was some Zelda fans there too, trying to really go at them, and oh, this game sucks, the series is over. And it's like, no need for that. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, me personally, like I said, I love the Legend of Zelda games, I love Final Fantasy games. And why go after the whole thing in general like that, unless it's like, in my opinion, unless the serious is, the creators are toxic themselves and doing anti-customer stuff, you know what I mean, then it's understandable. Why defend a company that's trying to, do bad to people who support them? I think that's reasonable. In this case, Rooster Teeth. But besides that, yeah, the fight itself, the 3D animation and all that stuff, I would say personally, I think it's better than that other fights we've had. Matchup itself, I still hate. That still stays. Why? Oh, because they have swords, huh? Because a lot of other people. You know what's awful too? When people try to suggest, and I did see this suggested in the live stream. They saying it should have been. First I had hope for this person. They said Link vs. Cloud is a bad matchup because Link stomps. I agree. Then they follow up with this. It should have been Cloud versus Guts from Berserk. No. Cloud slaughters. Okay. Link stomps Cloud just like how Cloud stomps Guts from Berserk. How you going to put You know what? I don't want to make this a very long video, so I'm just going to leave that, move on. Um, so yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, wait up. There we go. Get some Final Fantasy music there. Just, just for those people who think I'm a Legend of Zelda, the Legend of Zelda fanboy. You know, I. So there's some music. Me, yo. Let me just say this. I truly love these two characters. I've played the Legend of Zelda games for years. I've played Final Fantasy VII for years. And all three discs on my PlayStation One. I just love these two. The game Final Fantasy VII, and I love the Legend of Zelda games, and the other Final Fantasy as well. Like I remember playing the City NT before they fucked up and shut that. Why they shut the servers down of the City NT? I loved that game. I was when the first entire year when the City NT Final Fantasy to City NT came out, I was on there. I was I was every day, trying like, hey, this fun, and just having fun in that game. And to be said, oh, why you hate Final Fantasy? Oh, you just hate this and that. It's like, what the fuck you talking about? I've live streamed in the past Final Fantasy VII. I've unboxed Final Fantasy VII. I've discussed many videos about Final Fantasy VII Remake before I knew how the first disc was. Maybe the second disc is better. I don't know. It has Yuffie and I've seen the gameplay. So far, what I think in that, from what I've seen, needs a huge price drop before I get invested, because that first disc, still a little stain, but my point is, how I feel, about the characters themselves. I love them. Now back to discussing about this death battle itself. In my opinion, bad matchup, awful outcome. The fucking this. You know what hurts the most is the excuses, the false not accusation, but the false information, the false everything. It's just awful. You telling me that Cloud, he has all of that. I'm gonna save that one for last. My last thing I have to say, I'm gonna save that for last because that's special. Okay, okay. So before I get to the final thing I want to say, let me just say this. So you saying, all that, the huge arsenal, you let both of them use. Yeah, cool, nice, great. But how about all those other potions of Link, huh? How about all those other things Link has? It kind of felt like they wanted to specifically focus more on Breath of the Wild, and it kind of feels like, you know what I mean? Because in my opinion, what they should have done, if you truly wanted this fight, that battle, just wait for Final Fantasy VII remake to conclude, and wait for what was it, Breath of the Wild 2, to come out, and then actually do it. At least they'll, I'm not saying it's ever going to be a great matchup, don't get me wrong, but at least we'll have some other stuff, I guess. But I don't know, that's just me trying to be nice. I don't want to just make this just hatred, you know what I mean? But moving on to the serious stuff, let me just say, the fight itself, how it looks visually, it was better than some fights than other episodes, and that's me being generous. I think, what also sucks? When you having a discussion, and there are a lot of things I need to discuss in this video, but when you're having a discussion with someone and you're trying to make, reasonable points, respecting both characters, just having a nice discussion. I have many discussions of voices, of the voices community, with, friends and other people. And, we have respect for each other. We say, look, try to get you resources. Let me see what game this is from. They say where, this and that. And then, we provide some feeds. We have take some time to get some proof, to back up statements. All that stuff. We have respect. And this also ties to the Dead Battle fan base, or fanboys, fangirls, where they would say, "No, you're wrong. You're wrong. This isn't it. This character's going to win because of this and because we say this is." It's like, what? Chill out. What the hell? Also, you know what's dumb? The same people that would defend a character from, the shit show, are the same people that would say, "It's just a fight, dude." Like, in my opinion, the fight is not the issue. Like, okay, whatever, the animation is just animation. The thing that matters the most is discussing about the characters themselves. How they are represented, how the characters are represented as. And to say, for example, that supernova feat of the Cloud survived, right? Yeah, it's powerful, and I'm going to bring that all up afterwards because I have something else that ties with this, and trust me, it's worth it. And if you've seen my other Dead Battle related videos, you know what I'm going to bring up. But let me just say, so you're going to be including all of that, but how about Link? How about his other big feats? Oh, where are the other feats of? I think it's fair to bring up the feats of other Dead Battles. For example, when Ganon versus Dracula from Castlevania, Ganon versus Bowser, how about those feats? Or that big tower falling on Ganon, and like all that, like showing the feats of different characters like that. For example, because they said Sephiroth, the main villain of Final Fantasy VII, he could create a big, huge supernova to destroy all of them. He survived that. How about what Ganon could do and what Link could survive, huh? And then another thing is, why don't they discuss about what was it? They get into detail about the other stuff. For example, Guardians and all that. Of I personally would love, like, this is probably a personal issue, the Guardians versus the Summonings. Because they have the budget for that, dude. They actually do. Like, what the hell? They could have made this so much cooler at least. But, and then, they basically made Link sound like he's less of what he actually is. And then, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, Cloud is weak or anything. I love Cloud, like I said. I really do. One of my favorite characters in all of gaming. So it's not me hating on Cloud or Final Fantasy. I have, all that. So, moving on from that, in my opinion, when discussing that, also, what I was going to say, I'm going to save this for last because I don't want to just keep on, if I just keep on rambling and all that. Yeah, I could bring up more points, but, from how if we truly want to go, if they truly went all out, if they allowed both of them to go all out and went fair, they would just basically have Link use his most powerful weapons with Cloud as well, and truly see, and let me tell you who would win, because I know if they truly did that, because this wasn't a fair fight, how they treated Link. If they truly did that, Link would have with Cloud. Again, I love Cloud, but Link definitely, both, it's over, KO, instant. If they truly went all out. Now, my other issues is Dead Battle. You owe us a remake of Tifa's Dead Battle. Yeah. I don't want to hear any of those fanboys of Dead Battle say, "Oh, this and that." No, if we're going to get this remake, we need Tifa's remake instantly, like right now. Like the next Dead Battle after the other one, we want the Tifa Dead Battle. Because if you truly think Cloud wins this, then you truly have debunked your own Dead Battle. And if you're willing to put the Supernova feat on this, you truly owe us a remake of Tifa's Death Battle, and you truly need to put the Supernova feat on the Tifa's. Because it's not fair how you treated them. And then you know what's awful? You know what's awful? Like, I believe the Sephiroth Death Battle came after the Tifa's Death Battle. And you know what sucks? They'll discuss the Supernova feat for Sephiroth's Death Battle, but not Tifa's. They will discuss the feat for this one, but not Tifa's. You know why, right? Yeah. And people say it's not bias, which is stupid because the same company that owns that character that killed Tifa is owned by Death Battle. And then it's like, and they claim themselves to have, what was it? The best research and all that stuff, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And then you have those people who's the fanboys going to harass, other people, like the Legend of Zelda fans like me, or in other Death Battle when they fucked over Tifa, they were harassing Final Fantasy fans like me. You see? But no one ever wants to talk about that. And it's what I'm trying to say is it's ridiculous how people will see one side of an issue, but whenever the side is flipped and another thing, they'll just say, "Oh, you just hate her. Oh, you just a fanboy. Oh, you probably just hate Final Fantasy. You probably hate Legend of Zelda, or this and that." And then it's like, what? People are ridiculous, man. And overall, this is what I'm to say. I believe, and you know what? I don't see that battle ever doing. After this, I was like, I don't see them having justice. They doing any satisfying justice for a character. Maybe the only character I could think of to truly be like, you know what? I know for sure this character, they cannot fuck this character up. I used to think it was Link, but this proved it. But then I was also thinking Samus Aran from Metroid. If they fuck up Samus Aran from Metroid and make her lose against, like, say, a name weak character or weaker character, it's like, why? No. But moving on from that, let me just say this. Next time in that battle, I don't even remember what the fuck is next time, to be honest. I'll be honest with you, I really do not remember. Meaning I probably don't even care enough to remember. Besides that, man, I want to see that battle use a lot of characters and, the cool fight and interesting and all that, but I kind of don't wanna. There's other shows, for example, I know one show called Blood Royale is coming out. It's like a Death Battle inspired fight show. So that would be interesting and cool. So shout out to that one. Besides that, let me just say, this is just awful. The only good thing I could see coming out of this is people recommending Tifa versus that character that should not be named. Number 2, a rematch of those two. Tifa's Death Battle remake. So with that being that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, bye.